All right, guys, welcome back to the Sports Project. I'm here, John, as always, with my boy Kevin, and without Brandon again. Golly, man, he just can't seem to make these times that we give him. It's insane. It's like we do it at the same time every day. No, I'm kidding. Um, but so no, he got a late text. He's actually still in slavery. I mean, the army. Um, so he has to go in at like 4 a.m. to take somebody to what was it? What did he say? Processing or something? I forgot. I don't
Man,
remember.
something for training or something stupid. I
Yeah,
mean, I
something.
don't know. He acts like it's his job or something.
I know, like he's got a job or something. Um,
Man, ridiculous.
so he's not with us tonight. Probably sleeping, so he can wake up early and do his thing. So he'll be with us again next week, hopefully. But nevertheless,
Yes,
me and Kevin are
sir.
here. So for one, I just want to say I'm glad that we're keeping up now. We said, you know what, if somebody's missing, screw it. We're still gonna run it. We're still running it. I like it. Um, but so I mean, how you been, Kevin? It's only a week, but it's a week.
Good, man. Just again, still kind of just relishing in everything that we got going on. Football is in full effect right now. Appears that the Big Ten's coming back. They finally had their come to Jesus meeting. I mean, come to Trump
Oh.
meeting. Um, So it's exciting, man. I'm ready to go. It's only going to get better from here. We got the SEC coming up next weekend, so of course, Georgia's going to be in Arkansas 4 o'clock. Go ahead and set those timers, everybody, because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Um, it's been a wild week, man. Um, I so I know you know, man. It's just been a ticking time bomb around here, just waiting, man. It's a matter of time before I'm gonna be real busy. But other than that, man, yeah, just the same, man. Just glad football's back. It's been so much fun, dude. Saturdays, if you guys didn't catch it, we were live Saturday. Me and Kevin we did a lot of call. We actually had Back Row Sports tune in with us, coming to live. And actually, I went live with them today. I went live with Wes. We did a little bit together. That was fun. So we're starting to do some stuff together. So y'all check that out too. But
Nice.
yeah, we went live Saturday, man, and we're just talking about all the college games that were on. And I mean, we didn't even care. I mean, none of those games were even that good. There was only one good game on that night or that day. Um, but nevertheless, man, it's been nice to have football back. And I mean, yeah, that's coming from two people who just watched the Falcons do what they did. If you didn't catch that, you need to go watch that. Watch the highlights on that one. But
Or
before we
better
get in,
yet, don't. It's downright
yeah, yeah,
depressing.
if you're a Falcons fan, I wouldn't watch it at all. Um, so, but before we, jump into the podcast, I've got the Patriots game coming up. Of course, Sunday Night Football coming on. But it just had the Kansas City LA game on. Kevin, I think, caught the very end of it as well. Great game, man. I can't, dude. KC almost lost to a rookie quarterback. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts right now? I mean, the game just ended. What are your thoughts for KC from here on?
Well, I mean, I think that everybody's going to kind of have the same reaction you just kind of had, and the way you kind of worded it made me think that you may be doubting the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit and old Patty Mahomes over there. But it was very interesting. I tell you what, the only thing I think the Chiefs can really take away in this game is they didn't give up. They were never really down and truly out. All those kind of cliche kind of, coaches things that's pretty much all you can take away from this, man. I watched a good 2.5, 3 quarters of the game. It was sloppy. Kansas City did not look like the Kansas City that we've come to know so far. Patrick Mahomes was not Patrick Mahomes today. He was scrambling around a little bit, but again, those explosive plays at the end of when he's scrambling around is what he's known for. And quite frankly, I just didn't really see it today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they were just, it's weird because, again, last week they had the Thursday night game. So, they've had this extended kind of already delayed time period off, 10 days. So I wouldn't necessarily look too much into it, but I can definitely understand where people are going to start maybe raising some eyebrows at it and, maybe not quite just writing them off as a win every week.
Yeah, I mean, so here, I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm, doubting um, the Kansas City Chiefs or anything like that. I mean, I am to an extent, but I don't think they're out of it necessarily. It was eye opening. We talked about a couple weeks ago, I think, or what? Maybe it was last week. Um, no, it was last week. Yeah, we talked about Kansas City when they opened up with that big win on Thursday. Was it Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night you were talking about. So yeah, when they opened up with that big win on Thursday night, I mean, we thought, okay, here's the Super Bowl team picking up right where they left off, and I mean, like you said, I mean, Mahomes had a decent day, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 27 for 47, not great. He did lead the team in yardage on the ground, which is something that they're going to have to figure out. I don't know what happened to Clyde's Edward-Helaire. I know you're talking about, where's Patrick Mahomes, but I'd say the man damn near put the team on his back, carried him to
Yeah,
that.
for
Carried him
sure.
to that win,
Well, I mean,
especially that last drive.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime that your quarterback is leading in yards on the ground, it's going to be a rough day no matter who you are. So the fact that, again, that Patrick Mahomes was even able to kind of put his team in this position is amazing in itself. But again, like I said, it almost points to more red flags in other areas, and not necessarily just on Patrick Mahomes. And again, we've come to expect Patrick Mahomes to come out, throw 400 yards, 4 or 5 TDs, look amazing, maybe run 50, 60 yards. I mean, that's just what we've expected. So again, when you don't get that from him, you think he had a bad game or wasn't on point or things like that. I mean, he still had 2 touchdowns, 302 yards. Um, you were right. He had 6 attempts on the ground for 54 yards.
Hmm.
Tyreek Hill, I mean, he had 5 receptions, 99 yards, and a TD, all in the
Yeah.
second half.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, he was thrown to, I think it was, I saw a blurb pop up while I was watching it. I want to say it was 4 or 5 times he was thrown to in the first half and 0 receptions. So, again, some of those was a combination of, the defense playing good defense and manning up on, the speed demon Tyreek Hill. And some of it was just him not getting open. And again, Patrick Mahomes and him not being able to link up. So, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people that read into this and maybe too much, but I think they'll get it put together, and Andy Reid will definitely figure it out.
Um, so here's my thing about the whole deal. Um, you know, to me, the defense played an okay game. I they didn't show anything spectacular to me, especially when you're talking about the fact that if you didn't tune into the game, Tyrod Taylor left, I think, in the first quarter or maybe early in the second. So Justin Herbert came in and absolutely controlled the offense. I mean, I'm going to give LA credit here. And because I don't really think this has to do with KC being bad necessarily. I think their offense, I think they just sputtered here. And I think you're going to see more of that this year than you saw last year. You're going to see their offense sputter. The question is, can their defense win that game for them? And I think their defense proved they can today. But the thing is, you proved it against an LA team with a rookie quarterback at the helm all day. But watching him play, man, I was impressed by Herbert, dude. He was throwing under pressure. He was making really good decisions for the most part. Throwing the ball away when he was supposed to. Didn't get sacked a whole. I think he got sacked maybe twice. So
Yeah, he took one really bad one. I want to say it was late in the third or maybe even early in the fourth. But I want to say he took a 12, 15-yard sack, things like that. Those will be the ones that
oh
he'll
yeah,
definitely remember. those kind of rookie mistakes. You got to get the ball out of your hand, all that kind of stuff. I mean, he still threw for over 300 yards. He had a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he also had a rushing touchdown too. I mean, the kid looked good, man. And let's not forget, he's 22 years old.
Yeah, that was what was impressive to me was, and that was what I was saying about LA. Like, that's something to look forward to, man, because let's be honest, Tyrod Taylor is not the future of LA, obviously. Justin Herbert is. And, to see him come in and perform the way he did, I mean, he kept the team together against a very good, talented KC team, and took him to overtime and almost won him the game there. But overall, KC's depth and, their kicker, their kicker being a veteran and being who he is won them that game. And that was an insane kick. And I mean, he did it twice in a row. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat stuff like that. So, KC is with that talent, just kind of no matter what, no matter when you have them cornered, no matter when you think you have them down, their talent can come in and just win them a game. And even if it is their kicking talent, but it factors here, and you see how it factors in. But that's why Andy Reid's going to go in the Hall of Fame. You saw what he did in Philly. Now you see what he's doing in Kansas City. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid was probably a borderline Hall of Fame coach leaving Philadelphia, and the Super Bowl definitely just kind of put the whipped cream and cherry on top for that ticket. So it's amazing that, Andy Reid really does seem a lot more calmer and confident. And I know that's weird to say in just 2 games, but even with Patrick Mahomes, you almost see like that weight is lifted off. Hey, we got the one. You know what I mean? Now let's go get a couple others. And I think that's definitely the mindset. It definitely seems like what they're trying to do, especially with all the moves they made this offseason. They got rid of a couple of guys that were the cap casualty for them. They extended some guys out. They got Patrick Mahomes signed for the biggest deal in, NFL history. It was insane, but they did all of this again in the middle of off seasons with the pandemic, in between them winning a Super Bowl and setting up for a new season. So I think they are going to get it. We got to give them a lot of credit right now. And again, I've liked Andy Reid for a long, long time, and just to see him have success in Kansas City is awesome.
Yep, it's been pretty cool, man. I like Andy Reid a lot. So.
What's up, everyone? This is Brandon from the Sports Project. This new little thing we're doing now, it's called Patreon. I'm sure when you've listened to other podcasts, you've heard about it. All it is a small donation once a month to help support us and help keep us giving you the best sports-related content, the hottest interviews, and the most breaking news. There's 3 different tiers we offer right now. Little League, for a single US dollar, you get a shout-out every episode. Junior Athlete, for $3 a month, you get to pick one topic for the Sports Project to cover. I don't care if it's Kentucky Derby, US Open, or even your favorite minor league team wherever you're from. And then All-American, $5 a month. That's it. It allows you to come in and talk on the Sports Project, come join us in the recording, and be a part of the show every single month. So go out, join our Patreon, support us, and help us keep giving you the best content available.
So moving through the podcast, just one little subject we want to touch on before we get on to real sports. How's that fantasy looking like? I mean, outside of your other fantasy leagues, how is your Sports Project fantasy looking for now? I haven't looked at your stuff in a while. Really? What?
Not
So
good,
what?
Man.
I've thought you said something about Saquon. Were you talking about a different league? Or are you talking about this?
Yeah, so I had him in another league that we had going on. So I'm in a couple different leagues. We got actually 2 family leagues that my family's been doing for probably close to 10 years now. So we do that every year. We got, nice little championship belt, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But in the Sports Project League, man, I'm going up against Brandon. So convenient that he's out this week, so I don't have to hear his shit talking. But Man, it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's not looking too good, man. Right now, he's beating me by about 30 points.
Oh
I
no.
only I got Alvin Kamara to still play tomorrow night. I got Tyler Lockett that's about to start here in a little bit. And then I also have the Seahawks defense, which may or may not have been a good choice. But my only other defense were the Eagles, and they had -1 points today. So I'm feeling pretty confident with that.
Oh, there you go.
But I mean, man, Brandon just had a couple guys that really went off today and kind of just put it out of reach kind of early. I mean, Hopkins had 20 points. He had Hayden Hurst, who had a really good game for the Falcons today,
Yeah,
18 points. Melvin Gordon had a really good game, 14 points. Even the Steelers defense did pretty good for him. They gave up 21 points, but forcing some turnovers, things like that, still got them about 7 or 8 points. So, just it's one of those weeks, man. I hate to say it. I've never just been a baller at fantasy, and it's always just one of those roller coaster years, man. I'll be back next week. Whoever playing next week is going to have to face the wrath. But, this week, Brandon May has skirted by a little bit.
Yeah, man, I feel you. I'll tell you what, man, this year for me definitely seems like it's going to be a waiver wire year, at least for part of my lineup. I think I found a couple guys though. Luckily, this last week on the waiver wire, I'm doing okay in our league. I won last week, and I'm probably gonna win this week, barring some kind of miracle from Will Lutz. But man, it was such a tight matchup, man. It's such a cool matchup too. So let me go through kind of my matchup real quick, because these players that we had together it was so interesting to watch through the day. So I had Matt Ryan, he had Todd Gurley, obviously, two teammates. I had Naheem Hines, he had Jonathan Taylor, both running backs, both teammates, and he beat the shit out of me with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor went off. Naheem Hines came away with 1.4, so solid. So then he had Robbie Anderson, and I had DJ Moore. I beat him out there. And then he had Jonnu Smith, and I had Corey Davis. Jonnu Smith is as Tennessee's tight end. So it was just really funny to watch, because all these games were kind of going on at the same time, and some of these players were playing against each other. Some of these players were like fantasy playing against each other, like DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. That was a fun one, actually, because Robbie Anderson ended up with 17.9. DJ Moore ended up with 20 points. It's been fun to watch on the little scoreboard, but now it's coming to a close. It's looking like I'm gonna win. I got a 4-point lead. He's only got Will Lutz left. I got Darren Waller. So should be pretty locked up going into week 3, 2-0. But hey, I'm not even gonna get too confident though, because I've come into seasons 5-0 and absolutely shit the bed, barely make the playoffs. So
Hey, man, fantasy is a fickle bitch.
yeah, bro, fantasy is, man. I've only seen a few teams ever really just straight dominate, and I saw one guy. I think he went. What do you go like? I forgot how much you normally play in regular season, because I know this year's gonna be a little different. But what do you normally play? 12 in regular season, right? Something like that.
What, as far as the schedule?
Yeah, well, yeah. As far as like your fantasy, you play 12, and then the last 4
Yeah,
weeks
it's
are playoffs.
12. Yeah, it's 12 season, and then the last 4. That's normally how it is.
I think the best team I ever saw went 10-2. And that's so hard to do. If you guys are listening, you don't understand fantasy football. I'm sure you do, but if you don't, it's just insane to be able to only lose 2 games.
So on this league, it's actually we're playing 13 weeks, and then 14, 15, and 16 is the playoff. So,
Well, no, I was just talking about like normally what we would normally play.
oh,
Normally, I
yeah.
think you play 12 weeks, and then the last 4 weeks are playoffs. But yeah, man, fantasy's been fun, man. It's honestly, I'm just so glad it's back, man. I was like, it was about 2 o'clock. My wife and my daughter were at my stepdaughter. But they were both at getting their nails done, and I was just at the house 2:30, man. I had the laptop set up with the Giants game on. I had the big screen with the Falcons game on, depressingly. And then I had my phone on fantasy, bro, just chilling, just watching, just waiting.
Oh yeah, man. Got to check up on it, man. Make sure
Yeah,
you're
dude.
rolling like you should be.
Yes, sir. So, unfortunately, so we were going to talk about the NBA, but I want to talk about these Falcons real quick before we move on to anything else, because there's just not much to talk about, honestly. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but like we've been talking about it for years, it seems like. Um, I mean, so if you don't know, Falcons lost 40-39. I think the biggest lead we had was 20-0. So you can pretty much go from there. Lost 40-39. It's bad loss, bad blown lead loss. What do you think, man? I mean, how did you feel? I mean, I know how you felt, I guess, but
Oh man. Well, I tell you what. I thought Dan Quinn should have been fired last year. I'll be 100% honest. I think Thomas Dimitroff should have been gone. I think Dan Quinn should have been gone. I think they should have entirely cleaned house, brought in an entire new regime, and started over last year. I did not think that this was possible again. I do not know why, as an Atlanta or Georgia sports fan, we have to constantly be hitting the balls every single week, week in, week out, year after year, just feeling like complete garbage. If I was one of those players, man, I would not have let Dan Quinn get on the fucking plane home. He would be riding Delta back, man, plain and
yeah.
simple. This is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you are a defensive-minded coach and we can get huge, incredible leads and we can't do anything with them is absolutely ridiculous. You score 39 points in the NFL and you don't even win the game. That's not an offensive problem. That is 100% the defense. And again, it just infuriates me that he is supposed to be this, defensive whisperer. And I mean, literally, it looks like we put a block of damn Swiss cheese out there. We got so many holes in us. It's incredible.
Yep. So, you said in the NFL, if you score 39 points, you should win the game. Not only should you win the game, but statistically, we 100% won the game at some point and lost it. So it doesn't sound right, but the Falcons had 39 points with 0 turnovers. Okay, that's an achievement in and of itself. Teams were 440 and 0. 440 games where teams have scored 39 points with 0 turnovers, and not a single team has lost since 1933 when team turnovers were first tracked.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. In Dan Quinn's regime, the only thing that he has done has broken 2 NFL records, and it's for giving up the biggest leads in NFL history. Those are the only 2 records that he's broke, and it's for giving up the biggest leads in NFL history, regardless of how you want to look at it. The biggest lead in the Super Bowl or the biggest lead, like you just said, 39 points, 440 and 0. 440 and 1 is what we should be saying. And you know what? Here's the thing. 20 years from now, that's going to be a trivia question. And I won't even have to think about it because I won't remember this. Like, I won't remember this game. I will bury this deep, deep, deep inside my skeleton closet. Like, this game will never be brought to the light of day again. But you know what? That trivia question is so Atlanta that I will always know that Atlanta probably did that shit.
It's insane, man. I can't comprehend. So I'm trying to find, because they, including players with, with a one. Oh my God. The Cowboys beat the Falcons on Sunday 40-39 in what can only be called a generational choke job under the current 16-game schedule. NFL teams reach 1,000 games after 62 and a half years. The Falcons, as a franchise, have played only 857, including playoffs, stretching back to 1966. With a 99.9% chance of winning in the fourth quarter, the Falcons' loss is one of the most improbable results with a 1 in 1,000 chance of happening in NFL history. In fact, given that the Falcon had 0 turnovers, 0.1% might be too high.
Well, here's the bad part. Here's how you know it was a choke job. When Dan Quinn in his post-game interview has to explain or try to convince the reporters that his team knows the rules. Because if you go back and look at the replay, man, it's absolutely ridiculous. For about 4.5 yards, there were 4 Falcons players around the ball when they could have just jumped on the ball, everybody dogpile on it, make the recovery, take a knee, and let's get the hell out of there. Oh, no, let's sit there behind the 10-yard line and just wait for it to come to us like a complete moron. And this is what I'm saying. The fact that Dan Quinn has to go out and say, oh, no, my players knew the rules. Oh, my players understand this. No, they don't, man. And again, coaches always say film doesn't lie. Go watch that film, man. I'm telling you, those players did not know that they could touch the ball before it got 10 yards. They're too worried about kickoffs instead of doing their damn job on receiving.
Dude, so I don't know where to even begin on this game because – I mean, again, it's so hard when you blow a lead like that. It takes everything. You know what I mean? Like, you can't look at one specific aspect of the Super Bowl or of this game and pull it out and say, oh, that's what caused the collapse. I mean, maybe in the Super Bowl you could say the Patriots cheated. But aside from the Patriots cheating, you can't point to one direct thing. It was everything. It was coaching. It was, bad play calling, bad defense. Honestly, the only players I might not put this on is the offense, but actually in this game, I would because that drop pass by Julio Jones, in the end zone, dude, he's only done that. Like, I can remember one other time that he's done that, dropped a ball almost just like that in the end zone, and we did end up losing that game too.
Yeah.
But you can't have that kind of thing. You can't have your best receiver dropping a ball like that. And I mean, I get it. Julio Jones is going to drop balls. I get it. He's human. He's not always going to be that robot that we expect. But you can't drop that ball. You can drop the 5-yard slant pass on first down in the third quarter when we're up 20 or 10. But you can't drop that ball when we only had, at the time, I think we had a 3-touchdown lead. Man, you catch that ball, we take a 4-touchdown lead. We're smooth sailing.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, we can sit here and Monday quarterback this all we want to. There were so many different points and times that I was just like, man, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I kept finding myself say that literally from the point where there was probably 4 or 5 minutes left in the third quarter till the end of the fourth quarter. I probably said that 5 or 6 times to myself. I'm like, oh my God, you can't do that, guys. You can't do that. You can't do that. And it's just stuff, it's little things that will start to add up. And again, we went for a 2-point conversion. At the time when we were going for a 2-point conversion, I was like, why? It doesn't matter. It was in the second quarter. I mean, okay, so you're trying to make it 28. Who cares, man? They only had 3 points at the time. Who cares if you have 28 or 27? It doesn't matter. And again, you don't want to sit there and point out that one thing and say, well, we lost by 1 point, and that would have been it right there. But again, there's so many different ways that you can kind of slice this out. And like I said, my personal opinions on it, Dan Quinn should have been gone last year. And quite frankly, with the way this game went and how the Falcons lost it, not necessarily that they just lost it, but the manner in which they lost it, I would not have let him on the plane. I'm being dead ass serious. I would already had his bags packed. hey, man, we're sending them home for you. Don't worry about it. Like, you don't even have to pack your bags, man. They're packed for you, brother. Hey, don't even worry about coming to the office. We will send it to your house. Don't even worry about it, man. Like, we don't even want you anywhere near this facility again. That should have been the conversation after this game. And you know what? They'll come out and say that they support Dan Quinn and do this and do that. And hey, that's great. But you know what? When you're 3-13, I don't care who you support. You suck.
Yep. Well, and so I'm gonna say one more thing before we move on. I want to move on to NBA before we get on to the rest of the NFL, and also got the Sunday night game on, dude. I'm excited,
Yes,
bro. Sunday
sir.
night
Got it
football,
right
baby.
here.
Yes, sir. I don't even exclude. All right, Falcons lost. We done talking about that. You know what? I'm not even gonna talk about what I was gonna talk about. It's Sunday night football's on. The Lakers are playing. We got games going on.
What's going on, guys? John here from the Sports Project. Just want to take a little break here, let you guys know what our social medias are. So our Facebook is now the Sports Project.
And then we have Instagram. Go search the.sports.project and give us a follow.
And of course, you can catch us at Twitter, sports_project. Make sure you guys go give us a follow, comment, get involved. We love to hear from the fans. We'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.
And so, speaking of the Lakers, let's talk about what the hell the Lakers are just doing in the playoffs, dude. It is insane. I kind of doubted them coming in as maybe they're older. I take all that back. They're incredible. They're tearing through these teams. What are you thinking? I mean, so right now, real quick, right now, they're in quarter two. It is 6:18 left to go in the quarter, and it's 41-36 Lakers. But, I mean, what are you thinking about the Lakers now?
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers, like you said, they're up right now in the second quarter. They do have the 1-0 lead in the series over the Nuggets. Man, like we said, we talked about this, you, Brandon, and I, when all this was kind of getting brought up and how the bubble was going to work. And, back when we were just questioning everything about Corona and quarantine, man, I think I said it then that, the Lakers were the easy pick. The Lakers were the team that I think everybody, and not just me, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, Kevin, you had a great insight on this one. Man, everyone thought the Lakers were going to do good.
Yeah.
They're stacked. Why wouldn't they do good? But I'll be honest, there's a lot of teams in this bubble that have not done well that I thought were going to do a lot better. The Celtics, I thought they were going to do a lot better. The Heat have been a surprise. Man,
Yeah.
Where did the Heat come from? I mean, all of a sudden, the Heat were an 8 seed. They were battling for an 8 seed before the season stopped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, and all of a sudden they've caught fire. So, the Lakers are the easy choice. Again, you got LeBron, you got AD, you got everything you need on there. And, again, when you have the best player currently in the NBA, he makes things a lot easier for you.
Yeah, it's just been incredible to watch what they do. Houston came in, they won the first game, and then LA just never looked back. They came in, won all four straight, took the series right out from under the Rockets, and now they're coming in here against the Nuggets. And we're only in quarter two, but they're putting up a 10-point, 11-point lead on them, and they're already got the first game won. So I mean, they doubted LeBron for a long time, saying that he was playing in the East. Oh, he's playing in the easy East. That ain't nothing. That's easy. Well, now he's in the West, and he's straight tearing you apart. Now, I get it. Quarantine, all that jazz. Hey, we all went through quarantine. Everybody went through quarantine. LeBron went through quarantine just like everybody else. So you can't use that as an excuse. I mean, that may be why your team as a whole is failing, but you can't say, oh, well, that's why LeBron's dominating the West now because they went through quarantine. Well, so did LeBron. It's been impressive, man. And, yeah, like you said, I mean, with LeBron and AD, when they got AD, did they get AD before LeBron or after? I think it got him after LeBron, right?
Yeah, yeah. LeBron helped bring AD over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So when they were able to sign AD, man, from that signing, I was like, man, that's a big combo, dude. Those two, and that was something I noticed. I think it was last night or night before. Um, when they're out there, when they've got their main five out there, they just look so much bigger than every other player on the court. And I mean, I know that that's not what wins you basketball games all the time, but it is a very important factor. And they've got that. They have got size everywhere. They got shooters everywhere. It's gonna be tough to beat the Lakers, and I don't know that there's anybody from the East that can beat them. So it's it's gonna be interesting. Um, I mean, what do you think for the Nuggets? I mean, they're down early.
Man, yeah, it's the Nuggets are going to have a tough one. I think if they're really going to try to make a run here, they're going to have to pull out something here in the second half and the remaining of the second quarter. You know, going down 2-0 to the Lakers is not the position that you want to be in. And you're going to give LeBron's got a day off tomorrow. AD's got a day off. They come back Tuesday for game 3. Man, you don't want to be in that situation. Down 2 games, a fresh squad. I think if the Nuggets are going to have a prayer and a hope, they need to make something happen tonight. Now, if they can turn something around and they can etch out a win right here, now I think that we're really talking about a series. That gives something LeBron and AD and the Lakers to think about tomorrow on their day off and kind of think about and contemplate what they did wrong and maybe start overthinking it a little bit. I think in this situation, that's going to be your biggest thing. These guys are way too talented. They're just not going to have off nights or they're not going to have enough off nights to where you can end up beating them in a series. So, these guys are going to get theirs. But if you start creating that doubt, you start, knocking down some good shots, you start becoming that fight team that's just not going to give up. I think they got a little bit of a spark if they can just put something together tonight. If they go down 2-0, it's going to be extremely tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to come back from that. I mean, bottom line is, oh no way, dude! Second snap of the game, pick 6 for New England.
Was it
Incredible.
really?
Yep, second snap of the game. Yeah. So, I think what's important for Denver is Jokic and Jamal Murray have to just straight go off for however many games this takes. Those two right there are going to have to put the team on their back. Michael Porter Jr., I think, and Jeremiah Grant are probably going to have to help them out, and put up some points. Millsap's going to have to be that veteran leader. But yeah, I mean, if Jamal Murray can play like he's been playing against these big guys, they stand a chance. But like you said, they got to win tonight. I mean, it almost is a must win. I mean, I know it's only game 2, but I mean, dude, with the Lakers playing the way they're playing, you don't beat them you lose in game 1 and lose in game 2. It's going to be real tough to come back from that. So moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, we got the Celtics and the Heat. The Heat, I said.
The
Did you
Heat?
hear me? Did you hear me? I said the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Heat?
So who do you think's going to win this? Miami has the lead 2-1. Boston just won last night, or yesterday, I guess. What are you thinking? Who do you think's got this?
Man, I'm thinking as long as Jimmy Butler's out there doing his thing, Miami's in it. That's what I think, man. Look, I've been a big Jimmy Butler fan for a couple years now. I really like the way he plays. I really do. I think as long as he is in his groove, and hey, look, man, he's been in his groove for over a month now. He is playing some really solid, consistent ball, and I absolutely love it. Just like we talked a few seconds ago, though, the Celtics were one of those teams that had a really good core and we thought that could really make a push. I mean, I think it was either Brandon or myself that, was bringing up some really good points about the kind of squad that the Celtics had this year and, what they were bringing to the bubble and kind of how we thought everything was going to play out. And it hasn't quite been that way. But, I don't think you can sleep on the Celtics. They are a solid team. They got a couple vets on there that are kind of putting them in the right places. They got a great coach. It's going to be tough. Now, Miami's up in this series 2-1. So, game 4 doesn't come back until Wednesday night. So they got a couple days. They're relaxing. You got to get the bodies right. But, like I said, the Heat have been a pleasant surprise. And I got to tell you, man, I like the Heat. I really like the Heat. I just like their team. I like the way they're working together right now. They throw up a shot. Their entire bench is going absolutely nuts and berserk before it even hits the bottom of the net. And, I'm just loving it. These guys are having a good time. They had nothing to lose, and they're putting everything into it. So, it's a great, great team right now. And I kind of hope this Heat magic just keeps rolling on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Heat have been impressive, man. Like you said, Jimmy Butler, as long as he's on that team and he's doing his thing, they're tough to beat. They've looked really good throughout all of their series. And they're giving the Celtics a damn run. I mean, they lead this series 2-1. Do you think that I know it's only 2-1, but do you think the Celtics did just win. Do you think that the Celtics will come back from this and win this series, or do you think the Miami Heat win game 3 and then win game 4? Or I'm sorry, win game 3 then win game 4.
I think more than likely the Heat are going to come out next game and come out firing like they have been. Jimmy Butler's going to put on a great performance, and they will probably take game 4 to go up 3-1.
Yes,
if I'm being honest, I think they'll have kind of that down period for a game and, probably make it 3-2 and come back in game 6 and close them out. That would be kind of my prediction right now.
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing with the Lakers. It's all about what happens now. What position are you putting yourselves into? The Heat are already up 2-1. So you come out Wednesday night, Boston, I think, is going to put on a performance. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. They are going to have to be on their A game. They are going to have to be putting down shots. They are going to have to be playing great defense. But, like we said, don't count the Celtics out, man. They do have a little bit more of that veteran-type team. Again, great coach. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. I think we have some really good series, and I'm just happy for some good basketball, man. It seems like over the past couple weeks it's been a little up and down, and I get how that goes. But, man, these last week or two, it's been really exciting games, and I've been into it.
Yeah, I think so. And I messed up earlier. I meant to say game 4, game 5. We're getting into later in the bubble. We had that long break where players, didn't play for a while. It's going to be interesting to see how this series turns out, because the Celtics have way more depth than the Heat. I mean, you're talking, you've got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Enes Kanter. I mean, they've got depth all the way through, and it's going to be interesting when they get into game 4, game 5, if they need to go to game 6, game 7. Are the Heat going to be able to outlast, because, they're playing every other day at this point. So, are the Heat going to be able to keep up with the Celtics if it does come to game 5, game 6, something like that? I guess it will come to game 5 at the very least at this point. But, when you get into game 6, game 7, man, you're playing every other day. You don't have a lot of depth. It's going to be tough to win, especially when you're talking about playing a talented team like the Celtics. So the Eastern Conference to me is going to be a little more interesting than the Western Conference. I think we're going to see the Lakers really dominate, unfortunately. But so let's assume the Lakers win, and I don't know. Let's say the Celtics win since they have the most depth, probably the most talent on paper. Who do you think wins that? I mean, just pick a team. Who do you think wins that?
Between what now? Say that again.
Celtics and Lakers.
Celtics and Lakers, man. I'm gonna have to go Lakers.
Yeah, I think so too. I
got to be
LeBron
honest.
and
If the
AD.
Lakers are in it, man, I don't think it matters who's from the East. I think the Lakers are going to take it. I think it only becomes a little bit of a question if the Lakers get upset, and then we can start, having a little bit more debate about what's going to happen. But I think if the Lakers are in, I think this one's LeBron's.
Yep, I agree. Like I said earlier, it's going to be you're going to be hard pressed to tell me there's anybody in the East that can compete with the Lakers right now. But before we move on, since we're talking about blowing leads, what the hell happened to the Clippers? I mean, the Denver Nuggets are only here because the Clippers absolutely thrashed a 3-1 lead. What happened?
Well, just coming out of the Los Angeles Times, the 104-89 loss marked their third consecutive game losing a double-digit lead and the latest disastrous chapter of the franchise's 50-year history of playoff misery.
Jesus.
I think that basically sums it up, man.
Yeah,
I hate to be kind of cruel to this, but you know what? I just shit on the Falcons a minute ago, so here we go. Let me shit on the Clippers. All right. 3-1. Should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves. Is Doc Rivers still the coach of the Clippers? Who cares? He shouldn't be any fucking more. Kawhi Leonard, send his ass back to Toronto. Never did anything for you guys. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Who else? Oh, you got Paul George. Okay, so you brought a broke down dude from Indiana who can't even really run anymore. He's got a bad hip and a bad knee. And we thought, oh, hell, let's just bring him in and let's make magic happen. Guys, it's not going to happen, man. He's 36 years old. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, again, when LeBron came back 3-1 a couple years ago in the finals, nobody talked about what they did to win. Everybody talked about how Golden State lost that completely. And again, this is the same situation that we're in. On paper, coming in, we thought the entire championship was going to run through Los Angeles. The Clippers and the Lakers, we thought they were both going to be there. We thought it was going to be a battle. And that was really who was going to come out of the West. This is absolutely ridiculous. Again, this is going to be one of those things, just like the Falcons, 28-3, man. I mean, this will be brought up for years and years and years to come. It's absolutely ridiculous. Again, on paper, hell, even in actual talent and skill, there is no way that this team should have lost to the Nuggets, man. I watched the Nuggets play, and don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for them. They are a legit NBA team. I understand that completely. But when you have, the Masters out there, again, Kawhi Leonard, man, I have been on this guy, dude. He is just he brings everything to it. I've liked him all the way since when he was on the Spurs. But, this can't happen. This is when people get fired. And this is the same thing we're talking about with Dan Quinn, man. This is 100% on Doc Rivers. I put this entire series losing on Doc Rivers. Again, you're up 3-1 and you lose that 2 game. All right, you're up 3-2. All right, that's where it's got to stop. Doc Rivers should have stepped in. And the buck stops right there. I mean, this should have been a 4-2
I got to put shoes on and get
the
out
Clippers. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, I don't even know what more to say. You spent all this money, you put everything into it. You had a 3-1 lead. The funniest part about all this, Lou Williams is all over this Los Angeles Times article talking about, we're pissed off, man. Well, we're really pissed off, man. Hey, guess what? You should be pissed off because you look like a bunch of idiots out there.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off too if I was the Clippers, and I'd be pretty pissed off if I was their fans. So, in their last 4 games before they blew it off, they scored over 100 points one time. They actually, in fact, lost that game. The one time they scored under 100, they scored 96, and they beat the Nuggets 96-85. Not that 100 points, not that teams don't score less than 100 points often, but in the playoffs, you really don't see that, especially in these playoffs. Most of these teams are scoring over 100 points every game, and you can't even post 100 points 3 out of the 4 of the games the last 4 games you played. That's what the Nuggets did. And out of those 4 games, they still posted 3 out of 4 over 100 points. And that's why they won.
Paul George, man, it's funny. Paul George has got a quote in this, again, Los Angeles Times article. If you guys want to go check it out. I've been reading through it. It's actually really good writing. It's by Andrew Grief. Came out a couple days ago. But again, Paul George says in here, it was obvious pressure to live up to the title expectations got to us. But as a player, you want that. But you know what I mean? Again, it's the first time I've been in that situation when we're expected to win. So I think Paul George pretty much just told you guys exactly what was going on in the locker room and kind of what was the mindset with this. There was so much pressure, I guess, that was either, keep looking, man. It doesn't make sense at all. And I read it correctly. I did not stumble. I know everybody's sitting here thinking that I'm an idiot.
I'm reading his contract, and I'm just looking for in the fine print where it says sometimes you will not be expected to win.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Did they add the I'm a little bitch clause in there? Because he definitely pulled that one. I will say, though, Doc Rivers does go on to say that this is 100% on him. He says, I'm the coach. And I take the blame for this. We didn't meet expectations clearly because if we had, in my opinion, we'd still be playing. Yeah, no shit, Doc. No shit.
Sometimes, man, coaches and players just say the dumbest shit in interviews. They're like those helpful tips that are in games. Like it'll be like, tip, if you hide behind cover, you won't be shot. Like, no shit. Like, thanks, man. Like, appreciate it. Like, give us something. Like, tell us,
everybody just needs to do, every coach, every player just needs to go. I know it's not popular, and I know everybody's going to hate it, but everybody just needs to go to the Bill Belichick post-game conference. Oh, so how did y'all do today, Bill? Well, we just didn't go to full planning. Sometimes we've just got to practice harder. Well, yeah, you didn't practice that hard. You guys had 6 turnovers tonight. What do you think about that? Well, we're going to get back out here and we're going to learn how to hold on to the ball. Dude, you're saying absolutely nothing while saying absolutely everything at the same time. I don't understand why we can't have intelligent people saying this. It's not like they don't have media people that are right there available to them to give them whatever advice or confidence that they need. It's absolutely funny, but it is what it is. But like I said, man, you guys go check out this article. I've been kind of brushing through it, and it really kind of breaks down just the entire collapse of what was going on. But ultimately, I think Paul George kind of told it, there was a ton of pressure. So, again, take it for what you want. A ton of pressure. Maybe they started looking a little ahead, especially after they got the 3-1 lead. But, again, ultimately, like I said, and Doc Rivers admits to it, it all falls on him. 100% it's on him, and this is the coach's fault.
Yeah. It looks bad for everybody, I think. This is one of those things like the Falcons. Like anytime you blow a lead like this, I think it kind of goes on everybody. But, yeah, you can you can definitely look towards coaching as a primary factor in all of those situations. When I said you can't really point at a primary factor, I mean, like, you can't point at one thing and go, that was it. But you can point at coaching and be like, okay, this is a major factor as to why these things happen, and we need to at least change that first and then go from there. And I think that's where the Clippers are probably, but the Falcons they need to trade Julio Jones so he can get himself a ring somewhere, get rid of everybody else, and like you said, just restart. But, yeah, I mean, the Clippers just blew it, man, and that's going to stick
really
with them.
did.
What's up, everyone? This is Brandon from the Sports Project. We got our first sponsor out here, Black Buffalo.
Yes, sir. Stuff is awesome. Tell them about it, Brandon.
So Black Buffalo is the world's only smokeless tobacco alternative that delivers the same experience as traditional smokeless tobacco without any tobacco leaf or stem. It's got the same taste, the same texture, the same color, and yes, the same nicotine.
What kind of flavors they got?
So flavors are all the traditional flavors you'd see out there with regular smokeless tobacco. You got wintergreen, you got straight, you got mint, you got peach.
Georgia.
And one of my favorites right now is a blood orange. I ain't never had nothing like it out of any other smokeless tobacco. So go try it out. Hit our Patreon page, any of our social medias, anything like that, and you'll be able to get a link and save a little bit of money on it and try it out.
So before we cut into the NFL, we're going to touch on a little NCAA action we had on Saturday. Now, if you guys didn't catch it, we actually went live, me and Kevin, like we said earlier, and we will probably be going live every Saturday. We'll try to go live, at least one of us. So you guys get on there, ask us some questions about the current games that are going on or whatever you want to ask about. But while we were live, we watched some of the early games, and, right now it's really just the kind of bullshit teams playing. So we're really just going to talk about the one game, Louisville-Miami, the big game that was on. Turned out to be, I think, a lot better than people expected, or at least some people expected. But nevertheless, it was a great game.
There was definitely more scoring than I thought, man. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a defensive struggle. I was thinking somewhere, the 28-21 range coming in like that. But again, just throwing up points on the board, man, like it was nothing.
Yeah, it was a fun game. What I will say, like I said, I don't think people expected this to be quite as good of a game as it was. And I'm not saying it was, coming down to the wire, great type game like that. But it was a fun game to watch. Some good football got played. But the main thing here, I think everybody was kind of waiting on, was to see how Miami would do. So let's start with that. How do you feel Miami did here in this game?
Well, man, first things first, hats off to that kicker. I wish I had his name pulled up, man. Dude came out, full sleeves, tatted up, eye black. Hey, look, man, anytime a kicker puts the eye black on, that motherfucker means business, okay? and he's not playing around. So he came out, man. He drilled, a 57-yarder. I mean, I really like him, man. That was awesome. Derek King, transfer from Houston last year, came down to Miami. He's their starting quarterback, man. Manny Diaz, the head coach, and him have really kind of hit it off a little bit. He's been saying a lot of things over the past couple of weeks of how he's really come down, just taking control of everything in that organization and really kind of being the leader that they needed. So, he had a monstrous game, 3 TDs, over 300 yards. This was one of those back and forth games, man. I mean, it really was. Miami kind of jumped out a little bit at first. Again, going in, it was 20-6 at halftime. Coming back out, Miami put up 17 points in the third quarter. So again, there was a ton of action, a ton of explosiveness going back and forth. And I thought it was a great game, man. I really did. 17-18 matchup. So, you always want those to be kind of down to the wire a little bit, and it really was. Couple of things I do want to throw out there real quick. Louisville was 3 of 4 on fourth down, which I thought was really interesting. They had a lot of success on fourth down, but in the times that they needed it, they could not convert it to points. A couple of other things that really stick out to me. Louisville had 209 rushing yards. The last time that a NCAA team had over 200 rushing yards and held their opponent to under 200 rushing yards and still lost was 1945 Navy team. So again, we're talking 75 years since that's happened. And again, Louisville controlled the ball a crazy amount of time. They had almost 40 minutes of possession, while Miami only had 21 minutes of possession. So, I mean, they held the ball double the amount of time. They were moving the ball, and ultimately they had success on fourth down, but they just could not translate it to enough points.
Yeah.
I did forget to another key factor of that is Louisville had 3 turnovers as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that really was honestly why Louisville lost. I think without those turnovers, they may have won that game. Like you said though, Derek King, he played pretty well. His percentage was not great, but he definitely made up for it in making a lot of plays. He had a few rushes, not a lot of yardage there, but threw for 325, 3 touchdowns. I can't remember if you said that or not, but he had a good game. His backfield though, so I don't know if Miami necessarily had an idea of coming in with a stable backfield, where you use multiple backs. But I don't think they'll be going that way from here on. Cameron Harris came in and just blew it up, man. 9 rushes, 134 yards, 1 touchdown. That if he is not the starting running back, so they rushed, let's see, 9, 7, 8. So that's, we're looking at 26, 30. They rushed 30, 32 times, something like that. He only carried the ball 9
Miami
times.
Miami rushed 30 times. Louisville rushed 49 times.
So Miami rushed 30 times. He only touched it 9 times out of those 30. Produced 134 yards and a touchdown. So I just wanted to point that out. Should be interesting to see if he becomes like the primary back, or if they're still going to stick with that stable, that stable platform. I mean, Jalen Knighton, he's a good receiving back. He took that 75-yarder. That was incredible, man. It says it was a pass, but I thought it was a rush that he had. Maybe it was actually – it was. I think it was Cameron Harris that actually had that big rush for 70-something yards. I guess Jalen Knighton also had a 75-yard catch. I don't even remember that one.
Well, another good story was the wide receiver, Atwell from Louisville, who was actually from Miami, was not given a scholarship to Miami, went up to Louisville, played. He had a monstrous game, 15 receptions, 192 yards, 2 TDs. So, I mean, good for him, man. Like I said, I'm happy college football's back. I'm happy football's back in general, man. This is just my wheelhouse right now. But again, more specifically, college football, man, I'm loving these kids. And like I said, the SEC starts next week, so we got to get tuned up for that.
Louisville's Malik Cunningham, dude. That quarterback, he took the L that night. But I want to talk about him real quick because that kid impressed the hell out of me, dude. So he went 26 for 36, 307, 3 touchdowns, and an INT. I'll take that every Sunday. I mean, I'll take that every Saturday for now, but I'm saying I'll take that every Sunday too. He was incredible, man. His first half wasn't great, threw an interception. Wasn't playing too well, man, but dude, he came out in the second half and absolutely dominated. There was one drive in particular, I think he had to throw against a major blitz twice, And I'm talking, he had dudes in his face staring him down. And, I mean, he made 2 incredible throws. Would eventually go on to bring the team within 7. It was 27-20 at the time. But he was really incredible that night. I hate to see that he took the L there. But, man, Jacksonville may want to take a look at this kid because, that's where the future's moving to is in mobile quarterbacks. And I don't think Gardner Minshew is the future down there. I mean, I think they won today, but that kid, I wanted to bring him in, man. He was impressive. Made, like I said, quite a few good throws, especially in the second half. But, shame, got to win the game first, too. That's the main priority, son.
Yeah, man, Cunningham definitely showed out last night, but just to follow up with what you said, no, Gardner Minshew did not get the job done today. He threw 2 picks. He did throw 3 TDs, man. 33-30, they lost to the Titans. Ryan Tannehill, 4 touchdowns, man. 4 touchdowns.
Are the Titans serious, man? We knew the Titans were going to be good coming in, but I don't think anybody expected this out of Tannehill. I think we expected Derrick Henry to be the primary guy there.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry didn't have a bad game. He had, hold on, I had it 1 second, 25 rushes, 84 yards. So, again, take it for what you will. But,
yeah, that's good.
We even last year, though, Derrick Henry never really got started until, the second half or even, hell, I want to say the back quarter of the season, when he really kind of turned it on a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and jump to the NFL. That was really it for college. Again, Louisville, Miami, that was really the only major game. We are going to jump back to the NBA, though, at the end of this because I did want to talk about one other thing. But we'll go ahead and talk about the NFL. Yeah, the Titans, dude, they're really impressive. I mean, I know, they Jacksonville Jaguars, but again, Jacksonville came in 1-0. They got the Vikings next week, so that should be a good game. The Titans, I mean. But I mean, I think the Titans are really proving that, hey, we're not just going to ground and pound you. And, I had the damn Titans defense playing this week. I had them playing last week too. They didn't do great last week, and they did not do hot this week at all. And the Titans are showing that's not where they end. It's not ground and pound and then beat you with defense. It's gonna be through the air, on the ground, and we'll see about the defense. They gave up 30 points to Jacksonville, but like you said, Tannehill 4 touchdowns, man, 239. That's some serious efficiency. Derrick Henry 25 for 84. Jonnu Smith, man, 4 receptions, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, led the team in receiving as a tight end. He's been an impressive tight end so far this year.
He's been on fire. He has been on fire for sure.
So, Tennessee's going to be tough this year, man. I mean, I think we all knew that kind of coming in, but, man, they're looking really, really tough. We'll see if the defense can get it together, but, I mean, how do you feel about the Titans? I think Jacksonville is going to be kind of one of those how many games are we playing? They're still playing 16, right, this year? Yeah, so Jacksonville, I'm going to say 9-7, maybe 7-9, somewhere in there. But what do you think about Tennessee?
Tennessee, man, I like him. I like Vrabel a lot. I think he knows exactly what he wants from his team, and I think he's finally starting to get it. We saw it last year, the run that they made and kind of the push that they had, and I think it opened a lot of people's eyes. And so now you have to work on being consistent with that and to establish that dynasty, if you will. So yeah. I think definitely that, the Titans are a team to look out for. Definitely won last week, won this week. Little bit of a soft schedule starting out. So, but again, you can only play with what you're given and, keep churning out W's, and that's all they can ask. But I think it's a team that you have to keep your eye out for. But again, they're not going to be, like Baltimore or, the Cardinals and Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson. They're not going to be flashy. They're not going to be running all over the field. It's going to be a grind and pound kind of team, and that's what they're going to be.
So, quick update. So I actually switched my TV. I got the Lakers game on my TV, but I have the Patriots game on my computer. It's 14-7 Patriots. So this game's kind of going as expected. I thought it was going to be a pretty good game. So let's talk about that Thursday night game. And then we'll kind of work through Sunday's game, a couple Sunday games after that. What do you think about the Browns? Did that prove anything to you, them beating the Bengals, or was this just a win that they will just carry on and probably let that fandom from that first win just carry on into next year?
Man, I mean, today, like I said, today it's depressing to be a Falcons fan, but, it's always depressing to be a Browns fan.
Yeah.
And, every day I wake up and thank God that, I'm not a Browns fan. It's one of the first things I do. I thank him for the breath I breathe, and then thank God I'm not a Browns fan.
Yeah.
It's been rough. And I know that we talk shit about the Falcons and Georgia and everything like that. And you know what? That's because we can. But, the Browns have always been trash. They can sit here and talk about the dog pound. When the dog pound started getting relevant? When they were 9-7. Come on. So let's not act like we're doing some major stuff here. Hey, look, I don't think Baker Mayfield's the guy. I don't think he's the guy. I didn't think he was the guy coming out of college. I don't think he's the guy now. I think a lot of what's going on now doesn't have anything to do with him. I mean, he's only been there 3 years. He's had 4 different offensive coordinators. He's had 3 different head coaches. So, man, again, I don't think he's the right guy, but let's be honest, the entire Browns organization is a dumpster fire, and the Bengals aren't much better. So the fact that we're talking about this, game makes me want to go take a shower. It's gross.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it was a fun game to watch. I'll be honest. I mean, 30 to 5 to
I watched
30.
I watched the first quarter, man, that's what it was. I watched the first quarter, and I was like, okay, this is boring. Flipped it over, and then at halftime it was 20 or 13, 21 or whatever it was. And I was just like, okay, great. So as soon as I flip everything over, then, everything starts popping off. So, for me, it really wasn't that entertaining of a game. But, again, I think Joe Burrow is going to be a great quarterback, though. I will go ahead and add that, as much as I don't think Baker Mayfield's the right guy and the Browns still even winning, Nick Chubb had a fantastic day on the ground, 124 yards, 2 TDs. Joe Burrow's out there doing his thing. He had over 300 yards, 3 TDs. They never really could get anything going on the Brown. The Bengals couldn't. Joe Mixon only had 40-something yards. So, again, just kind of finding that stride and finding what's going to work for these guys. But, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be talking about the Bengals Browns in the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was fun to watch, but it's the Bengals and Browns. This is the bottom tier. These are the 2 teams that nobody's going to care about, come week 14, 13, 15. It's just they're nobody's going to care. So, we already talked about the Falcons game. We would normally talk about the Panthers game, but I think today maybe we'll skip over it, especially considering they lost 31-17 to the old Buccaneers. Actually, so what do you think about Tom Brady getting his first win, especially against the Panthers, as tough as they looked? I mean, what do you think about that? We'll skim through that real quick.
Yeah, man, this game was really interesting. I mean, again, I'm not a Tom Brady hater or anything. I definitely was when he was in New England, but as soon as he left, it's amazing. I didn't really hate him as much, so it's definitely just the fact that I hate the Patriots. But, last week with that kind of really poor, lackluster performance in New Orleans, everybody started questioning it, and I'm sure that Tom Brady had to hear this every single day, all week long. But he came out, man, and had a pretty good showing. Mike Evans had a touchdown. Leonard Fournette, the dude's on fire. Look,
Yeah.
I get it. The Jaguars didn't want to deal with his mouth and his opinion and whatever. That was a stupid move, man. You basically handed him over to your in-state rival. He had a huge game today, 2 TDs. The craziest part about all this, man, Bridgewater, I have it right here. Bridgewater threw 367 yards, 2 picks. Christian McCaffrey only had 59 yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns. So, again, you start
He
looking
left.
at – yeah, and you start – how serious was that injury, by the way?
I didn't actually see the injury. I just saw that he left. Keep going. And I'll see if I can find an update.
Yeah, I mean, again, whenever I talk about this, so it definitely says that he's going to undergo an MRI on his injured ankle Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Ian Rappaport of ESPN, if you guys want to go check it out. So, again, definitely something that is going to hurt the Panthers, especially if that's something serious. So hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully it's, just a tweak or a twinge or something like that. But I think Brandon said it last week. It's going to be a long season for the Panthers. They're going to have to find their groove. Matt Rule, Joe Brady over there, they're going to have to figure out their rhythm and kind of the stride that they want to hit to be good. But again, you start kind of looking at these stat lines and things like that, and it's very clear what happened. They're moving the ball a little bit, but again, Christian McCaffrey could never really get anything going. DJ Moore was out there, had a couple catches, 120 yards, but again, just nothing consistent, just some hit plays here and there. And that's pretty much all it was. So the Buccaneers really had that game in hand, from the beginning. I mean, it was 21-0 at halftime.
Mm.
The Panthers fought back in the second half just to make it interesting. But, I think the question is still up in the air because, again, not to be disrespectful, I don't know how good the Panthers are. And even Brandon last week said, hey, it's going to be a long season. So I really wouldn't read too much into this one. The Buccaneers still have to find their way a little bit.
So the only thing that I have update-wise, of course, it's not really a major update, but it says, so this is from, what was this? This actually came from Panthers SI, Jason Hewitt. Okay. My laptop's freezing up. My laptop's all frozen on the internet. Anyways, it says that they didn't think that it was anything that's going to sideline him for the next week. So he should be back, but we'll have to stay updated on that and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, maybe Tampa's back. Maybe they're back. Well,
Tampa's
maybe
back.
Maybe Tom Brady's back, and maybe he's gonna bring the Bucks back.
You mean the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers?
Yeah. So okay, there we go. My internet's working again. Let's see. Any other NFL games that we want to talk about? Let's see. We'll talk about the Bills real quick. They had a nice win against the Dolphins, but I mean they're 2-0 in their division. Josh Allen, 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, had 4 rushing yards.
Did you see the run that he had and the stiff arm on the linebacker?
Yes.
Oh boy.
That's why I wanted to talk about it, man. He trucked him. But that's what happens when you don't tackle low.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's something that you definitely don't want to get involved in if you're not ready for it. And again, a little self-hate on that, oh God, who was it? Who was it today that Zeke ran over
KZ.
in the end zone?
KZ.
Oh, KZ, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That was heartbreaking.
Woo. Yeah,
it was
and
absolutely heartbreaking.
I'm gonna be real honest with my Falcons fans out there, man. I had I had Zeke Elliott on my fantasy league. I had Michael Gallup on my fantasy league. So I was real happy with what Zeke was doing. I really thought we were going to win. That's why I was kind of happy with it. And then it all of a sudden went away. But, yeah, I mean, you know, Josh Allen really, really is showing, why he was, a top draft pick. What's that face for? What happened?
Nick Bosa likely tore his ACL and out the remainder of the year.
Yep.
Holy
Yep.
shit.
I heard he got injured. I didn't know it was that bad. Sucks to suck. But yeah, Josh Allen really looking good. Looks like Stephon Diggs and John Brown are really finding their stride up there. And Cole Beasley came out of there with 5 receptions for 70 yards. So, they're using him just like he's always been used. The Bills look good. They gave up 28 to Miami, but I don't think Miami's terrible. I don't think they're great either. But a good win by Buffalo, I'd say. Josh Allen looking tough. That truck you sent me over he blew him right over, dude. That was insane. I was so shocked to see Josh Allen do that. So not really too much NFL. You had the Ravens-Texans game. That kind of went how expected. Ravens really put it on the Texans. And we still had the Patriots-Seahawks game. It's same score, 14-7. So no changes there. So what do you think? What do you think for tomorrow at 8:15? Saints-Raiders. Who do you got?
Well, I got Drew Brees as my fantasy quarterback, so I desperately need them to do something. I got Alvin Kamara in another league, so I desperately need him to do something, and I have nobody from the Raiders, so screw them.
Hey, now I got Darren Waller. Now I need him to go off. Well, not really. I just need I need 10 to 14 points out of him. I'll probably be good.
Well, I think it's funny that at least Vegas and the insiders and everything like that, man, they're expecting this to be a lot closer game than what it is. The Raiders are favored 5.5 points. So again, for all you betting folks out there, again, the Saints are going to be in Las Vegas. It is going to be their, opening stadium debut. And they do have 5.5 points. So if you're feeling a little lucky and need to place a little wager down, man, that one might be a good one to put a little hundo on.
I was gonna say I'd take the Saints -5. Shoot, that ain't bad.
No, it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders +5. Yeah, Saints -5 basically. Yeah, you're right. Either way you want to say it, Saints -5, Raiders +5.
Yeah, I would take the Saints -5, man. Shoo, I'll take that all day. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody's going Saints here. I mean,
so Bravado Bravado actually has it at a 6-point spread.
What?
It's got New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans -6.
Ooh.
The over-under's 48.5. So I would suggest to all our betting heads out there, I think you might want to take the Saints on that and take the over.
Yeah, I would say too. Yeah, because I think the Raiders have a decent team, at least offensively. Defensively, but offensively, they definitely have a good team. I mean, they're young, but I think it's a pretty decent team. Henry Ruggs, big, explosive wide receiver on the outside. Josh Jacobs, great power running back. But yeah, it's so hard to bet against the Saints though right now. I mean, they're really powerful, man, and they look really good. If the Raiders can stop Alvin Kamara, because honestly, Michael Thomas has not been huge for them. Well, he wasn't last week, I guess, but if you can stop Alvin Kamara, I think you might be able to beat the Saints. And I don't think their defense. I don't think their defense is impenetrable. You get, like I said, you get Jacobs and Ruggs working together, and you're hitting Ruggs in the deep ball and setting up the play action with Josh Jacobs. I think they stand a good chance to win, but it's just so hard to bet against the Saints right now with as good as they look. But nevertheless, I think it's going to be a good game. And, of course, we get to see the new stadium. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, man, I've been hearing a lot about this stadium, and again, just how much money they've had to put into it. I thought the Falcon Stadium was pretty bad when we were $560 million over budget, but it's nothing like the Las Vegas Stadium that was 100% over budget. I want to say the entire building was supposed to take $1.5 billion, and they're already $1 billion over budget.
Jesus. That's insane, dude.
That's business, baby.
Yep. Business is booming.
So if you want a little funny thing, man, I again, I'm just perusing the internet right now, checking out Bravado. Again, it's got all the spreads, different things like that, but you can bet on pretty much any sports that you want to, and you can even bet on politics. So, of course, me being the curious mind that I am, I have to go ahead and click on it and check it all out. But you actually have, let me see, 6, 7, you have 8 different options to pick for the winning U.S. president. Currently, of course, you have Joe Biden and Donald Trump, followed up by Hillary Clinton, Mike Pence, Kanye West, Michelle Obama, Andrew Cuomo, and Nikki Haley. So if you needed a little chuckle or things like that, man, I got you covered. So go ahead and hammer down that Kanye West for President 2020. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, man.
So hold on. So, all right, they have who now? I mean, they have Kanye West on there. Why?
Yeah, man. Go ahead and let me unlock this share screen, man. Let me share this screen with everybody.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. Multiple participants. Go ahead. Should be good now.
Yep, here we go.
So what's funny is there's a presidential candidate that I know about, Joe Jorgensen, and that is hilarious that she's not even on there.
She's not even on there. So can you see this? So everybody can see this. I just think it's so funny. Of course, you're going to have Joe Biden and Trump. You're going to have that. I think it's hilarious. Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama are up here. But then just to top it all off, Kanye West and Andrew Cuomo.
I mean, hold on. What I want to point out is they have the vice president as a possible pick for president.
At plus 800. Yeah, I mean, that's
8,000.
That's the funniest. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow.
Oh man, this is so funny how they have this. So they have all the different prop bets, man. And again, this is bravada.com. Yeah, will he drop out before November 1st? Will Trump drop out before November 1st? You know that ain't happening.
Nah.
Which party's going to win the popular vote? And then you can even break it down by state. Which state is going to go which way? Dude, this is why America's the greatest, because we not only say, hey, we don't have enough sports to bet on, we're going to bet on politics because you know what? America, baby.
Jesus.
I mean, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, man. I thought everybody could use a little chuckle on this one, and definitely wanted to let everybody know that you got to get out there and get your bets in.
That's crazy.
Oh my
man.
God, And then they even have it set up for the 2024 Democratic candidate.
Look, and they already got people picked.
Alexandria
Oh my God.
Ocasio-Cortez. Dude, I'm going to lose my shit if we ever have to deal with her. But anyways, Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Cuomo's up here. Can't even
Oh
predict
my
old
God.
Pete's name. Bernie Sanders, why would they even put him on here? They've burned him twice. Like, why would they even put him? Nobody's going to bet him. They know that they screw him over. Kamala Harris. I mean, man, dude, this is awesome. I'm so glad I found this.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
yes. Oh God, we're gonna have so much fun on this.
So before we close this out, oh shit, Seahawks just tied it up. DK Metcalf, deep too, boy.
That boy, that dude is Diesel.
Yeah, he's good, man. DK Metcalf is good. He's big, man. That's a big dude. So
It's a big old son bitch.
before we close it out, there's actually two more things I want to talk. Well, we want to talk about PGA Tour, the U.S. Open. Take it away, Kevin.
Hey man, oh big swinging Bryson DeChambeau, man, got his first major in his career. Man, he was the only player in the entire field that was below par. The only player. He finished the tournament 6 under par. Number 2, Matthew Wolff, was dead even at par. I mean, he ran away with it today. It was absolutely amazing. He kind of hovered around that -1, -2, for the first 2 or 3 days. And then all of a sudden today, man, turned it up, really took control of the lead, and got his first major win of his career. So congratulations to old big swinging Bryson DeChambeau, man. I guess all them protein shakes and the weights finally worked out. Had a $12.5 million purse. Again, the man deserves a massage and a hot tub now, man. Go home, dude. He has done it. His first major, like I said, of his career. Man, I'm happy for him. I've liked Bryson DeChambeau ever since I kind of started getting involved in golf and kind of watching it a little bit more and just kind of the way he carries himself a little bit. And, especially with the whole quarantine and things like that, the COVID going on, there's no fans still out at the PGA Tour's events. And really kind of getting to see and hear kind of his personality and just the way he kind of interacts with people on the course and his caddy and things like that. So just a real big fan of Bryson DeChambeau. So congratulations to him. The U.S. 2020 U.S. Open champion, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't catch but like a few, like an hour of around, I think, Saturday, and then I caught another hour the next day.
But the best shot that I have ever seen, man, has happened on this, and it was absolutely incredible. I want to say he was about 150 yards out or so, maybe a little more. And it was absolutely incredible. Hold on, actually, I got a video right here, man. Let me share that screen one more time everybody can see this beautiful.
Yes,
I mean, literally, it was a slam dunk in the way that I said it. We have a group chat going, and John and Brandon pretty much just told me that I was lying, that there's no way that this could have happened.
It's a quick update, man. LA is up 78-73.
There you go.
It's a good game, man. Michael Porter Jr.'s got 13 points.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Can you see this right here?
Yes, sir.
Dude, watch this.
Let's see it.
Watch this. So he's 170 yards out. Watch this.
Yeah, this is actually pretty solid playback.
Clunk.
Bang!
Doesn't even bounce, man.
Bangs it in, dude. That's sick. Look, he's probably like, wait, what happened to the ball?
Absolute insanity. Hold on, I'm running it back for you guys. Check this out. Clunk. Hold on, still coming. I mean,
That's
just right in.
insane, dude.
I think they do one. Here you
Yeah,
go.
here we
Here's a little
go.
bit better. I mean, look,
Bam!
man,
Right
right in
in
it,
there.
right in it,
Just
man. Look,
disappears.
look
Oh,
at
you can
this,
kind of see it. Yeah, you see it bounce out a little bit right on the other side.
dude.
Oh,
I mean,
wow, that's
it
crazy.
was the most amazing shot that I've ever seen. I mean, slam dunk, dude. It went straight in. It went straight in.
That's crazy, man. That's why we watch
So,
golf.
hey,
Shit
man.
like that,
Hey,
man.
big golf show. Big golf show.
Hey, that shit's awesome, man. Um, but yeah, no, congratulations to Shambo finally getting that title win he's been waiting for. I know there's been a couple tournaments, he was real close. At least in the early rounds, he was close. So good, like I said, good to see him get that title win under his belt, and I'm interested to see what he can do from here. Maybe he'll go get himself a green jacket. Now the master.
Hey.
Now when with the Masters, they haven't happened yet, have they? Or have they already happened?
No, they actually got postponed, and then
Yeah,
they got rescheduled. It is coming
because I
up
know
in
they
a
normally
couple
happen in
weeks.
August.
Yeah, it is coming up in a couple weeks. Hold on one second. Let me check this bad boy on out real quick.
So
But yeah, I mean it is coming up in a couple weeks. So everything again, COVID kind of screwed everything up. We already know all
yeah,
that. So, you know, it it happened. So next week they are going to be playing down in Punta Cana for a little
okay.
$4 million tournament.
Mm,
But right now they have the Masters is set for November 12th through the 5th. So we still got about 2 months out.
okay. Yeah, that's my favorite tournament, man. I love watching the Masters.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of going through the schedule that they have right now. So, for everyone who doesn't know, last week was, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago was the PGA Tour finals, pretty much. So, the official 2020 season has ended. So, last week with the Safeway Open in Napa, California, I don't know if anyone caught it last week. That was actually the first tournament of the 2021 season. So, coming up the next couple of weeks, it's a little bit of smaller tournaments that may not have quite all the fan power that has been, or I'm sorry, the star power that has typically been out here these weeks. But again, I think we're going to see some good golf, and especially like I said with Bryson DeChambeau, he was the only one all tournament that was below par. So the courses are starting to get a little tougher. These guys are starting to get tuned up a little bit. We're going to start seeing some really good golf. Like we haven't been.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have been really. Yeah, man, uh, it's been fun to watch. Golf again. It's just been coming through with some really good tournaments, and really coming down to the wire a lot. And now you've got a lot of dudes are making a lot of good shots. Like the one you just showed, that slam dunk was incredible.
Slamming it.
Yeah, man. Um, but I don't have nothing else for today, man. NFL's back. NCAA's back. I'm looking forward really to next week. We're going to be talking about the SEC. We'll be talking about the MLB a little bit. We talked about the NBA tonight. We're going to talk about the MLB probably next week. Talk about who we think is going to be in the playoffs. Are there going to be – now, they haven't decided if there's going to be extra wildcard teams yet, have they? It's not set in stone.
I have not heard any confirmation on any expansion like that yet.
Yeah, I know. I heard that they were definitely leaning towards it, but it was going to be
Contemplating
like,
it, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So
MLB is going to go to a bubble format, though, so I think that's going to be good for their playoffs. At least they'll be able to complete their little, 60-game half season that they're trying to
yeah,
play. I don't think we talked about Major League Baseball today, and there's a good reason for that. Hey, guess what? Nothing's happening.
yeah.
They're still playing, they're still catching COVID, and they're still passing it around to everybody. So, that's about it.
Well, and I mean, the MLB, it's kind of there for a while, and it's always there, and then the playoffs happen, and then that's when it gets real interesting, or at least when you get closer to the playoffs, it gets really interesting. And this year, it should be interesting, and it is getting interesting now. I mean, I think we're over 40 games through the season, almost 50 games through the season. So, I mean, you're getting now towards the end, towards the stretch, and you're really seeing who's going to probably be in. The Twins clinched recently. The Yankees are on their way to clinching. So, we'll be talking more about the MLB next week. There hopefully will be a couple more teams clinched. Braves.
And Nick Folk just missed a 47-yard field goal for the Patriots, so he'll be looking for a job next week as well.
You can find your pink slip in your locker, sir.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, Mr. Folk, if you are looking for something to do, John and myself will be going live this week and this weekend. Get involved. If you guys aren't following us on social media, I don't know what you're doing, man. We're trying to put out some funny content. You guys got to start reacting to this shit. I'm getting pissed off.
Yeah, man. We need you guys' comments. We need stuff. We want you guys to comment and stuff so we can get people on the show. The more people that comment and start subscribing and do stuff like that, we can get people on this show, do some fun games or different stuff like that. We're figuring out different stuff to do to make it or to add in a little more stuff that's always going to be there and you can always look forward to, kind of. But yeah, next week we're going to be talking about college football a little bit more with the SEC starting up. MLB, we'll still be talking about the NFL, of course. NBA playoffs will still be happening, so we'll be talking about that. There's a lot of stuff going on, man. It's getting really interesting in the sports world now. I like it. But we'll be back next week. Hopefully, Brandon will be back with us. And, we hope you guys tune in, watch, listen, follow, subscribe. You already know it's the Sports Project.